Jim the Game Guru, and today we have Dawn of Mankind right here from Tasty Minstrel Games. You can take a look at the box there. I love the artwork on the box, super cool. Now this is a game where you have to build the most prosperous clan. So it's kind of like in the early periods of humanity, and you have nomads and these prehistoric times, and what you do is you go through several ages from childhood to teens to adults, eventually to the elders. And as you go through that game flow through the ages of your clan, you try to make them the most prosperous clan you can. The person that has the most victory points for their clan ends up winning the game. If you guys are new here, please consider subscribing. So let's go ahead and rip open the game. I'll show you some components and I'll do a little quick how to play. All right, let's take a look here and see what we have on the table for Dawn of Mankind. In the center, you get the main board that I've already gone ahead and set up the setup for 2 players. We have a bunch of these like meeple, cavemen looking people here, which is, I mean, they look pretty decent. Standard kind of meeples shaped in a caveman, so it's kind of cool. We also have 2 boards, one for each player, that will have their resources and actions declared on there. In the center, we have the main board with a bunch of age columns. So you have over here, you have childhood, teens, adulthood, and then you'll end up having the elderly over here as your clan progresses through each one of these ages. So what you're going to do is you're going to end up putting each one of these clan members onto a specific place on the board when you initially set up. So when you initially set up, you have to put it on one of these 3 columns. But going forward, what happens is as you expand your clan and your clan has births, you're going to end up putting new clan members on the very left side. And then as the game progresses, that person's going to end up moving across from left to right until eventually they die off and they're gone. So when you get to this point over here, they no longer go to a specific place on the board. They're just gone. They come back to your side of the playing field. At the very bottom here, we have a bunch of art cards that as you're going through the ages here, that you can actually end up creating artwork that is displayed in the bottom row. All right, so let me go ahead and show you what some of these art cards look like, and each one of these art cards will actually have tracking markers on them, which you have a tracking cube on there. And so you can see they all have the same type of thing, where they have a tracking row, and you're gonna have a counter on there, and then the number of resources you're gonna need to get rid of in order to get a certain amount of victory points. Now this little cube right here is what we have down here on these artworks. And what happens is after someone uses, like on this particular one, if someone would spend 3 tools, they would gain 9 victory points. Once somebody does that, this goes down to the next row. And the next person that spends 2 will gain 8 victory points. And then after that, it slides down. The next person that pays 1 will end up giving 7 victory points. Once you end up using all of the little tracking areas on a particular artwork, this artwork goes away and gets replaced by a different artwork at the bottom here. So that's why you have art down here, is because you can gain victory points based on that. Up here on the top, you have progress cards. These progress cards will give you special abilities. You can only claim a progress card when you get to a certain action on the main board, and then that progress card will actually go to your main sheet. And you can actually put 6 progress cards on your main sheet. So let's go over the main sheet really quick. Just go over the anatomy on this. So right here, if I can bring this up just right, so at the very top, you're going to have something that tells you what you can do on your turn. The top part over here, top left, you're going to have the religion, and basically what happens at the game end, you can actually gain bonus victory points based on religion. Whenever you rest in the game, you can actually perform cooking, and whenever you do cooking, you can actually trade in resources for victory points, or you can expand your tribe when you end up resting. The other thing is down here you have storytelling, and this is going to be some more bonus points toward the end of the game. Now, if you notice on the sides here, on these right here, you have 3 slots, because that is where 3 of the progress cards are going to go. Whenever you get new progress cards, you will just overlap an existing one if you have no room. Unless the progress card is something that's based on religion, cooking, or storytelling. In that specific scenario, you're going to overlap one of these spots with that progress card. On the right over here, you have an inventory tracker that keeps track of your meat, your fruit, your tools, and your hides. So these are basically all of your resources. And the trackers, which is really, really cool, the tracker for each one of these columns are these special little kind of meeple tokens, which look really, really awesome. And I'll show you here in a second. So you can see right here, these little tokens right here are used to keep track of the inventory for each of them. And they just look so damn cute. I absolutely love the way those look. During the game setup, what's going to happen is each player is going to end up getting a setup card just like this. This will be your starting values on your card for those resources. Now the game ends when you get to 60 victory points. When the first person hits 60 victory points, the game will end immediately, and then bonus scoring will happen. Okay, so let me go over here, and I'm going to show you some of these these victory point tokens here. Let's give it 10 or 5 and whatever. Okay, so here you go. You can see that you got 10, 5s, and 1s. These are your victory points. Every time someone gets a victory point, they will grab it from the main pile. Why in the world do these victory point counters have a question mark on the back side of them? This is because if you want, you can hide your victory points while you're playing your game. So if you want people to guess what you have and be kind of mysterious about it, you could do that. I personally feel like there's no point in that. I mean, I think most people will kind of figure out if you're reaching for 10 victory points, well, you've got 10 and they can kind of keep track of what you got going on. So that's pretty much the entire setup of the board game. So really, really simple. You have art down here, progress up here. You have your sheets will keep track of your progress cards plus your inventory of your resources. Let me show you the manual too really quick before we get going. So the manual, as you can see, is a fold-out manual. I absolutely hate that. I wish they would have made this into a book. But on one side of the fold-out manual, I mean, fold-outs are not bad for certain games, but for games like this, I feel like it should be more of a book. The very front part of this manual is for the actions and how you play the game. The back side of this manual is going to be a reference for a lot of the action tiles and what they do. Okay, so that is the manual, very easy. And I guess another thing I can show you really quick on something here. Let me just show you a couple action tiles. So this one right here is called Trap. This basically says if you have at least one tool and at least one fruit, then you gain 3 fish. I mean, these are how simple these actions are. Here we have study, right? Study says if you lose 1 hide and you gain 1 progress card. So the fire is the progress card. So a lot of these actions are very simple where you lose a resource, or maybe you don't lose a resource at all, and then as soon as you get onto the board, you just you gain whatever that action is. Now one other icon down here, and I don't know if it's visible, it's kind of hard for me to pick up the board and bring it up to the camera right now with all the stuff on it, but there's actually a little newborn actually no, it's right here too. You say newborn right here that you can see, but this newborn here means that anytime you go through a path that has a newborn symbol, you can actually add another clans person at the very beginning here in this ready section. These arrows right here tell you that as you're flowing through which path you can take. So if you're here, you'll have 3 arrows, one of them going here, one of them going here, and one of them going to this block. If you're up here, you'll have multiple paths here, and if you're up here, you have multiple paths here. So if you have a clans person that's at the very top up here, like say like right here, they cannot move all the way down to here on the next age spot. They have to go within the paths of the arrows. And one thing that's really important to know in this game is that as you move your clansmen across, if there's somebody already on a tile, let's say that one person's there, and this person decides to move here, you will automatically push that other clans person to the ready spot on the next column. If you're playing very tactically and you don't want somebody to get into the ready columns then you may not want to move in a spot where there's already a different clansman there. Because there's two things you can do in this game when it comes to actions. The first thing you can do is you can move a clansman to a particular action tile and then perform that action. The other thing you can do is you can rest. And when you do the rest, that allows you to do the cooking, and that also allows you to move your clanspeople from action tiles to the ready spots. So every column has a ready and then action tiles. Ready, action tiles, ready, action tiles, ready, action tiles. And whenever somebody's on an action tile, you cannot move them from an action tile to the next ready. There's nothing that allows you to do that. The only way you can move clanspeople from an action tile to a ready spot is if somebody pushes you off that action tile or you rest, which then allows you to move all of your clanspeople into the next ready spot. All right, so let's go ahead and fire off the game. Let's do, I'm going to do a few rounds here, and I'm sure that once you see some of this gameplay, you'll kind of understand. It's very, very, very simple to play this game. All right, so we're going to have this player over here go first, and then this player will be second. So what they're going to do first is they're going to go ahead and choose one of their clansmen here to move. So what they're going to do is probably move this person here. They'll gain 1 fruit. So there you go. The fruit goes down to 3 now. So now this person over here is going to go, and let's see, what are they going to do? You know, I think maybe what they'll do is they'll go here. They'll lose 1 fish to gain 2 victory points. So they'll go right there. They'll grab 2 victory points just like that. This person over here is going to go now. This player already has one clansperson on an action tile, so that clansman can no longer move. This person over here has the same thing. 1 clansman on an action tile, they can no longer move that person. So now there's only 2 more people on each clan that are in ready spots that could be moved. All right, so this person's going to go over here. You know what? They're probably going to go ahead and move this clansman here. Now, when they move over here to trap, they went through a newborn sign. So the newborn sign says, hey, you know what? I get another clansman, and I get to put him right here, just like that. They also gain 3 fish, which takes them all the way, where was I? At 2, which takes them all the way down to 5, because they have at least 1 tool and at least 1 apple or 1 fruit. So this person over here is going to go now. So what are they going to do? You know, maybe they're going to go through here, through this track, and they're going to go ahead and lose 1 tool to gain 2 fish. So their fish go down to 2 and gain 1 hide. So their fish goes down to 3. And they also went through the newborn icon, and therefore they can go ahead and put another clansman on the board. So now this person over here is going to go, they could go this way, let's see, -2, so they don't have 2 hides. They could actually move this one as well. So this is actually kind of interesting. So maybe what we'll do is we'll go over here and we'll lose 1 food, and after losing 1 food, which they'll lose a fish, they'll go down to, do they want to lose a fish? Yeah, I guess they can lose a fish, whatever. They'll go to 4, and then they'll gain 1 tool, which takes their tools up to 2. Now this person over here is going to go, they only have 2 people they can move. Now, they're in a position now with 2 people they can move. They can either move this to here and slide one of the other opponent's clans member over, or they can move this one over. Let's go over here. They're going to go just like this. They're going to go into tool right over here. They're going to lose 1 food. So I guess we'll make their fruit go down to 0. They'll gain 2 tools, and they'll gain 1 victory point. Okay? Just like that. So now this person over here is going to go right up here, and they'll lose 1 hide. And then they will gain a progress card. And maybe what they'll choose for progress card is they'll do fire. Whenever you perform a tool action, gain +2 tools. So just like that. Now this person's going to go. What they'll do is they'll go ahead and go here, and they'll push the other clansmen from the other opponent over into the next ready spot. So they lose 1 food, which takes them down to 1 for the fishes, and they gain a tool. Now this person goes over here. This person over here does not need to rest yet, because they still have another person right here, thanks to the sliding effect of the other player pushing their clansmen off. So now this person here goes, they could, you know what, maybe what they'll do is they'll go right here and they will gain 3 apple, which takes them to 6 apple. Over here, this person right over here, they can only rest because every single one of their clansmen are on action tiles. So when they rest, they're gonna go ahead and do a cook. So when they cook, they cannot, well, actually they can't even do that because they don't have enough food, which absolutely sucks. They do have 3 victory points so they can expand their tribe. So maybe in this particular situation, when they rest, they'll choose and expand the tribe, which means they lose all their food, so their fish goes down to 1 or to 0. No big deal. They'll lose the 3 victory points they've already accumulated. They will go ahead and expand their tribe by 1. Just like that. So they'll go like this. Now everyone that, since they're resting, every single clansman they have goes into the next ready. So now on their next turn, they have all of this available to then start moving forward. Now this person over here is going to go, they have all of their people on action tiles. So now they're going to have to go ahead and rest. So they'll rest, which means that they'll bring up each one of their clansmen to a ready spot, and then they're going to go ahead and cook. And wow, they have a lot of food for cooking. So they can either do the four meat, or they can do the 3 fruit for 2 victory points. Either way, they're going to end up getting 4 victory points only. So maybe what they'll do is, I'm thinking they're going to go ahead and just completely empty all their fruit, and then they're going to end up having 4 victory points from that because they had 6 fruit, and it's 2 victory points per 3 fruits when they end up cooking. Both clans, they rested during their last turns, and then now this person over here, the second player, is going to go, and they can go ahead and start moving their clansmen for additional actions. And that is how you play Dawn of Mankind. The first person that hits 60 victory points will trigger the game end. It's an immediate game end. It's not everybody left in the turn, go ahead and take their last turn. It's an immediate game end. And then everyone counts their victory points and then counts their bonus victory points from their sheet, because each one of the resources are worth victory points. A certain amount of the resources together are worth victory points, plus the storytelling and the religion are worth victory points as well. Yeah, but that's it, guys. This is Dawn of Mankind. It's actually a kind of cool game. It's in kind of a smallish kind of box. I like it, so it's a little easy to transport. It's not like one of those big ginormous boxes. And I like I really like the mechanics of it. I wish it wasn't really a race to 60 points in the game ends. I wish there was a different mechanic in the game that would signal game end versus trying to get people to race to get to the 60 points. That's probably the one biggest criticism I have on this game, because I would rather have it be about making the best choices rather than trying to get 60 the fastest and hope that your bonus points at the end of the game will be enough to win you the game. I would love to see an expansion of this as well. If you guys like this video, please like, and please subscribe if you're new here. I'll see you guys later. Bye.